All right, we are here at my outdoor worm bin, and last time we were in here, we showed you how we harvest this bin, and we gave it a big feeding with some experimental foods, and we added a ton of shredded cardboard on top to kind of try and bulk it up. So what I want to do on this check-in is I want to check in on our experimental foods and show you one technique that I use for moisture and heat at the same time. And right here, I'm feeling something a little bulky and not even sure what it is. It's got some kind of thing right there, so maybe I'll think of it as we go. But I did start to see some worms like that right here on the surface. Now, partway through, I did check in on this, and here we go. Lots of great worms. These are red wigglers in here, and they're looking kind of chunky. That is good. So I did check in on this, and we watered it in a couple times. But when I checked in to just kind of see if I could catch those experimental foods early, it was pretty hot right here, and there weren't any worms in the center. And when I did check those experimental foods, and one of them which was red, white, and blue M&Ms, there were nowhere to be seen. The colors were melted in, but right there is a little baby right on my thumb. And I am glad to see that there are some worms right here in the center where the food is, but we are seeing some more of the food stuff in than we typically do. And that's because it has only been 16 days and I kind of fed them for maybe a 3-week check-in. And right here is, I think, some kind of citrus kind of mixed in with maybe some paper towels that were in here. So let's go back and see what we put in here to kind of see what we're finding in here right now. We started off our feeding with a mix of shredded cardboard and paper, and then we jumped in with a bunch of our food scraps from the week to include lettuce stalks, strawberry tops, a little bit of onion, and some broccoli stems, and of course banana peels. Then we dumped in more frozen strawberry tops mixed with blueberries and a zucchini piece, and some Chaeto algae from my marine fish tank. We also added a seed potato from my garden, along with a big broccoli stalk and tangerine. Finally, we put down some napkins and we put our experimental food on that, and that consisted of some trail mix and some of those red, white, and blue M&Ms I was talking about. Then, of course, we added our amendments of worm chow, spent coffee grounds, and pulverized eggshells. So that makes sense because I am finding the banana peels in here like this, and we'll find that they kind of eat the flesh out and they leave some of the other stuff behind. And the other thing that I'm pretty happy with is the bulk. You can see it's partway up my hand, and the last video I showed you just how much of this bag we're using, and it wasn't much. It was maybe a quarter of the way filled, and I'm going to try and get it to halfway in the next few feedings by bulking it up. And here we go again, just some more of the napkins just kind of matted down, which is again why I typically don't like to put them in, or when I do, I try and rip them up or maybe just put a little bit in at a time. Let's go ahead and dig from the sides and bring that in. Now the sides consisted of mostly the shredded cardboard, and that's what we're seeing, but we're also seeing a lot of the worms, and that may be so that they can kind of get away from the heat. Now it is summertime in Florida here, so I would expect this bin just to be running a little bit hotter than it does maybe in the spring or fall, but the worms don't seem to mind. In fact, I typically see my worms kind of populate more and eat faster in the summer, which makes sense. And one of the things that we're not seeing in here that we typically see this time of year is black soldier fly larvae, and I have not seen one in here, but in my regular compost pile there are lots. So I'm thinking that the mosquito dunk solution that I have in my rain barrel and that I use to water this in after every feeding is probably also effective on black soldier flies. So that is very interesting. Not that I necessarily want to keep them out of here, but I have heard that they can overwhelm a worm bin, so everything is safe there. Check this out, just a lot of great worms. So they are definitely enjoying the more bulk, which means that they have more area to flee in case of, kind of fermenting foods that I might have put in here, or if they are fleeing some heat. So let me just kind of go around here and kind of mix it all up, and then we will set up for our feeding. So there we go. We have created a space for our food and our shredded cardboard. So I'm going to add a little bit of layer of dry shredded cardboard. And then you may remember these from other feedings, but this is just some packing material that my mom seems to get a hold of. So I'm going to use this to kind of aerate the whole bin and kind of lift it up a little bit. We'll just add a little bit of shredded cardboard right onto that. And now we are ready for our food scraps. So I will put in a banana peel. That sticker will eventually come off because the worms will eat all around it. I've got a lot of great wet foods here in the form of lettuce stalks, and we've got some broccoli, put Put some more of that right there. Some spinach, another lettuce stalk. This is actually going to be a really great feeding. And then we'll put in an avocado with some blueberries, it looks like, and maybe a couple of pieces of mushroom right there. Then we'll add in some of these goji berries that the worms seem to get to pretty quick. And now let's spice it up with some color. We'll add some watermelon right there. We've got some strawberry tops, which my worms particularly love. And we've got apple core. And let's put this cucumber in here. I actually hollowed this out and got the seeds out, so we'll be growing some more of that. And maybe a little bit of onion paper and some more strawberries. Let me see, one more thing. Am I cleared to put in one more thing there, executive producer?
Mm.
All right, there we go. We've got some peppers, just like that. So that right there is a pretty good feeding for probably somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks. If you like to feed weekly, then, maybe put this much in if you have the same amount of worms as me, and I have somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000. So if it's a new worm bin and you only have maybe 1,000, you only want to put in maybe a few strawberry tops, maybe a lettuce stalk, and maybe one other thing. So next, I always like to go in with my worm chow, which I blend up in my Magic Bullet blender, and I just find some expired stuff in my pantry and put it in here. Now, you see I have a lot of it from feeding over many months in all my worm bins, but I'm telling you, it lasts forever. This is not much that I've put in here. And then I'm going to try something new with my coffee grounds. I've got them in a tiny container here, and maybe that will help me to use it all. I'm always so scared to dump it all on there, but the worms seem to do okay with it. A little bit more. It's a lot more than I usually put, but we'll see how they do with it. And then finally, we'll go in with some eggshell grit. I just collect my eggshells and use my Magic Bullet blender to grind them up almost to a powder. And believe it or not, we go through so many eggs that I can't even get all of them into my worm bins. I also add some to my regular compost, and some I actually throw away. So check this out. Because we put a lot of dry cardboard in there, and we're going to put a lot more dry cardboard on, I've got these very cool spherical ice cubes that my freezer makes, and that is one of the techniques I use to slowly add moisture and take away heat from my worm bin. So we're going to put those on at the very end. First, we'll add some shredded cardboard, just like that. And now let's kind of bury it up with the rest of the contents of the worm bin. And this is great because we are bulking it up. And what this does is it helps to hide the smells from any kind of mammal type critters that would try and get in here. And it also gives the worms a path to get to all your food scraps. You think of them kind of like fish. They can, travel up and down, side to side in 3 dimensions. And worms are very much the same way. Wouldn't that be neat if we could do that? So let's fill it in with all kinds of shredded cardboard. So in we go, just like that. Let me kind of spread it down and around. I'm hoping to get this bag halfway full, which would probably be right up to this level. So we'll see what we can do with the next several feedings. In we go with some more, just like that. Now, I usually harvest this bin every time I feed, especially in the summer, but we just skipped this last feeding because we are, again, trying to bulk it up. So let's put our little ice cubes right here to help cool things down as they might heat up with the food stuff that I put in here. And over the next couple to 3 days, I will add some more of these to help cool the food down, and because it is so hot now in Florida and our days are so long. So next, off camera, we're going to go ahead and water this in with some rainwater to try and get all this shredded cardboard damp and that crosshatch stuff that we put down there. And if you want to see what that looks like after it's been in a worm bin for about a week or two, check out this video right here. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope your worm bins are doing fantastic. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.